Hey y'all, what's up? We are back for day 2 coverage. As you probably can tell within the graphic on my picture, I got who won. Well, we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna try and build up to it because we're gonna talk about the men's 100, the heats that happened this morning. We're gonna talk about the semifinals for the women's 100 as well as their final, and then we're gonna talk about the mixed 4x4 final. So, if you are new here, please thumbs up the video. Please drop a comment down below. Engagement helps so much pushing the video out. Subscribe if you are new. We're going to talk about this. And I'm in the dark right now because the power's out. But I'm trying to make it work. So we're going to make it work. Let's go. So we're going to start with the first heat. The first heat for the men's 100. We got Kishane Thompson. He was the only thing in this heat that was truly like eye-popping. Like, okay, let's see what he's going to do. Jeremiah Azu from Great Britain, he was right next to him, and just looking at him through like the intros, he was like beaming. He was super excited, and I was like, okay, he about to do something. And of course, he ended up false starting, and it was a clear false start. Of course, he was literally sitting there pleading his case the entire time, even though we all knew it was a false start, and we all knew he was not going to be able to run, even though he was trying to run under protest. But this is the Olympic Games; they're not going to let that happen. So he got thrown out, but whenever he got thrown out, we finally got the race. Kishane Thompson, he ran a very, very smooth, controlled, comfortable, easy race for Heat 1. He ran that round the way you're supposed to run it. He ran 10 flat with 0.6 of a tailwind. So simple, easy. Honestly, this is my pick to win gold. I feel like he's got to do something crazy to not win gold. But I feel like he's my pick to win gold. I got a couple other ones that I'm going to throw in the mix who could possibly end up challenging him. But we're going to get to it. Let's move to heat number 2. Heat number 2 had Ferdinand Omanyala. And all of these heats had, well, the majority of the first set of heats had like one superstar amongst the rest. And he was that one. We expected him to run well. He did. He ran 10.8. I want to say he looked comfortable, even though he looked like he was putting in a little bit of effort. But he looked comfortable. It was a pretty smooth run for him. He wasn't really challenged, wasn't really pressed. He was slowing down coming home and kind of easing up when everybody else was charging forward, which got me a little bit nervous considering how, you remember what happened to Sharika back at the last Olympics. I get nervous every time I see somebody pulling up when people are coming so far. But he got through. He won his heat. 10.08 with 0.2 of a tailwind. Next heat. The next heat we had Louis Hinchcliffe, Noah Lyles, and Sean Maswangani. The two Houston boys, two Houston collegiates, they came up in here, and I was excited. Because both of them, Louis has a back half that Sean doesn't have, and Sean has a front half that Louis doesn't have. Like, they're literally opposites. Like, if you take both of their strengths and combine it together, you got a perfect athlete. So when I saw these two in this heat with Noah Lyles, I was like, this is going to be interesting. Because Noah, we all know Noah is super duper arrogant, super duper confident. I have no problem with you being confident. It's great to be confident. It's great to believe in yourself. I don't feel like that's my dislike with him. I'm not a fan of his personality. Like the way he acts, I'm not a fan of it. But he has this air of confidence and arrogance. It's good that he has confidence. So that's what's going to make him perform. And 9 times out of 10, he does back it up. I will give him that. I'm not a fan of him, but he does. But it was interesting watching this because he had some work to do. Because them two boys got out. Sean got out. Louis was doing pretty good for his first probably 60 meters. Obviously, he turns it on coming home, which is what Noah does as well. But Noah couldn't catch up to him. He couldn't catch up to him. Louis ended up finishing at 9.98, big Q, 0.2 tailwind. Noah came up for second with 10.04, and Sean was third, 10.06. Those are the big Qs going to the semifinals. And in Noah's post-race interview, he pretty much admitted that he did underestimate his competitors, which I'm glad he did admit it. But that's what you don't do. You don't, and I hope a lot of these athletes, a lot of the ones that I'm rooting for, don't do that. Like, you cannot underestimate people in the games. Like, you're in the Olympic Games. Everybody's going to be fighting tooth and nail for their spot to the next round. But he said that he's going to turn that around. We know he's probably going to turn that around. But that was that heat. The next heat was Oblique Seville versus Hakeem Sonny Brown. Favorite Ashe was in this as well, but he didn't get through to the finals. Seville looked good. Seville was moving. Like, he was moving. He looked pretty comfortable. Sonny Brown looked good as well. They had barely any win at all, a flat O. Oblique Seville, he won at 9.99. Sonny Brown, 10.02. So, good for them. The next one, we had the Olympic champion in this heat, Marcell Jacobs. Lamont Marcell Jacobs. He's always interesting to watch because when he's lined up, or when he's scheduled to line up, you don't know if he's going to be there. Like, you never know if he's actually going to be lined up whenever he says he's going to be lined up. So when we knew he was going to be here at the games, though, you're not going to miss the games. But he lined up, and I was excited because he's had a pretty decent season so far this season. Like, he's had a couple moments where he's kind of shown that, okay, he might be back on form. So I'm excited. I was like, I'm excited to see what he looks like. He had to work. He had to work in this. And I was like, okay, this ain't looking too good. He didn't look too hot to me. I feel like he worked too hard for it to be a heat. And Ajayi of Nigeria, he looked good. He looked good running. But he won that one, 10.02. Lamont Marcell Jacobs finished second, 10.05. So he's on to the semifinals. He got some work to do because there's a lot of boys here that are gonna put his ass in the back of that whatever he's in. They're gonna put him in the back. But he got some work to do. The next heat, we got Akani Simbine, Akeem Blake, and that was all that was in this heat. Simbine, he won, but he didn't look. It was completely different than Akeem Blake. Akeem Blake, he got out and he was running comfortable from start to finish. Like, he had the lead probably coming into 80 meters. And he started cooling it coming home too. But you look over at Akani Simbine, he had to work the whole 100. He was probably in fifth coming into 60 meters. And he had to literally work to get all the way up to win. He ran 10.03 into a negative 1.1. Akeem Blake got second, running 10.06. So they're through to the semifinals. I'm very intrigued to see how Simbine is going to run in the semifinals because I feel like he had too much to do, and he ran this low-key like a semifinal. So how much energy does he still have to run tomorrow? But we're going to see. Now, this race right here, if you was watching it on Peacock like I was at 5 o'clock in the morning, you was pissed just like me because this is heat number 7. We got to see the intro for Kenny, but they cut it off to turn it to swimming. So we didn't get to really see the full race until it came on Twitter. But Kenny looked good. Kenny was running good. It was Kenny in this heat, Andre DeGrasse, and Matadi. Those are the 3 names that you're really looking at. But Kenny, smooth, clean, comfortable. Comfortable 9.97. That's tied for the fastest time for the men today. He ran 0.3 tailwind, 9.97. Andre DeGrasse, you can't ever count him out, but I'm nervous for him. I feel like this is going to be the first time he might not make an Olympic final. And this will be his 3rd Olympics. He might not make the final in this, but he looked good. He looked like Andre. Like, you can never count him out, but he looked like Andre running this. He ran 10.07 to outlean Matadi to get that 3rd big Q. Next, Fred Kerley, Tebogo, Zarnell Hughes. That's big 3 in this heat. And Tebogo, I love watching Tebogo run. The way he runs, he kind of reminds me of how Usain Bolt runs. Like, they both run so comfortably. It looks like they're like jogging low key. And that's what he did. Like, he got out. He probably ran a nice 40. The rest of the way, he was jogging. If you ask me, and then he really pulled up at like 80 and was looking to the right to see where Fred was, see where Zarnell was. And he was just cooling coming home. And he ran 10.01, 0.2 tailwind, 10.01 for second place. Fred looked good. Fred looks ready. He looked like he in 9.7 shape, if you ask me. He looked like he had a lot more in the tank. Tebogo did as well. Zarnell Hughes, he was working, but he looked like he got something in the tank as well. So It's going to look good. It's looking good going into these semifinals. I want to talk about one particular... Well, actually, we can talk about both of them. Because the heats, this is where the politics start to come into play with track and field. Because Noah got a easy heat. If you want to ask me in terms of his semifinal, he got an easy heat. Because that, I want to say it's it's either the second or the third heat. That's the semifinal of death. Let's talk about Noah's heat. Noah has, I'm trying to scroll to it real quick. So in semifinal number 1, it's Noah, Louis Hinchcliffe, Oblique Seville, Favor Ashe, Maswangani. But now that I'm saying it, it looks like it might not be as easy of a heat for him to win. Because he got Seville, who's beat him. He's got Hinchcliffe, who's beat him. So that's going to be interesting. But I feel like this heat is an easier heat to be in. Because the big heavy hitter, because the heat number 2 is for semifinal number 2. You got Kenny, Bednarek, Marcell Jacobs, Tebogo, Simbine, Akeem Blake. That one, I see Kenny getting out. I see Tebogo getting out. That's pretty simple to me. But the third semifinal heat, stop playing. We got Fred Kerley. We got Omanyala. We got Kishane Thompson. We got Zarnell Hughes. You got Andre DeGrasse. You got Sonny Brown. And you got Benjamin Richardson. Like, stop playing. Like, what? This is why I say I feel like Andre's not going to get in that final. Kishane Thompson, Fred, those are my big 2 going through. It's the next 3 fastest times. I feel like the 3 fastest times probably going to come from this heat right here. But that's what we got to look forward to. It's pretty open. I feel like I said, I feel like my top 3 is definitely going to be Kishane. I feel like him and Fred and Kenny, because Kenny was running smooth. But then you got Tebogo, who looks good. Simbine, I want to say him. I want to say Omanyala, but we know how their history is. Hinchcliffe is looking good. Seville's been looking good. Noah Lyles is Noah Lyles. And then you can't count out the Olympic champion. You can't doubt him, even though I'm doubting him. And Andre DeGrasse always finds a way to get a medal. He's a championship runner. So it's like, I don't want to count him out either, because he's one of my favorites too, but I don't want to count him out, but it's not looking good. But y'all let me know what y'all's thoughts are going to be. We're going to be here tomorrow talking about it. So y'all let me know. We're now going to move to the semifinals for the women's 100. We're going to start. Let me go back to my screenshot. First heat in the semifinals. We got Melissa Jefferson, Talu, Dina Asher-Smith, Swoboda, Kambunji, Sha'Carri Forbes. I feel like each one of these heats, except for 2, semifinal number 2, we're going to get to it. Even though I said semifinal number 2 was the heat of death. Like, that was stacked, but we're going to get to it. This one got some girls in it. Like, them girls I just named are not nothing to play with. So, Melissa, I was watching Melissa. Melissa had her game face on. You could tell she was focused. She looked nervous in her heats yesterday, but she looked hella focused in this semifinal. I was like, okay, she about to get on it. She about to get in this final. Talu looked good. We let's go ahead and get on into the race. The race started. These 5 was getting it. Like, all 5 of them were pretty much together the first 40. Like, you want to keep it real with me? Everybody looked good. So I'm like, who the fuck is about to get through here? And Melissa started to break away. Melissa was breaking away. Talu was breaking away. Then it was like a straight line for Majinga, Ewa Swoboda, and Dina Asher-Smith. Them 3 was running right down together for that 3rd spot. And Kambunji got that 3rd spot. I was like, okay, Kambunji was looking good because she has not had the best season this season. So it was interesting. I was excited to see that she actually put it together when she needed to, because this got her through to the final. But the times, Melissa, she won that 10:99.1 tailwind. Talu was second, 11:01, which I was like, okay. Looking at this time, I was like, okay, she ran 10:87 in the heats. Is she running her rounds backwards? Because you're supposed to get faster each round, not get slower. Kambunji was 3rd, 11:05. Swoboda was 4th, 11:08. And Dina Asher-Smith was 5th, 11:10. Swoboda and Dina got eliminated. Then we moved to the heat that we all were wanting to see. And I don't know if y'all saw it online. If you don't follow like Travis Miller or Track Gazette on Twitter, you probably didn't see it. but if you on Jamaica Twitter, you might have seen it. There was Sha'Carri and Shelly were pulling up to do their warm-ups like a couple hours before they were supposed to run, and they were denying them entry to go in to do the warm-up. And Shelly was saying in a video saying that like they were saying that they changed the rules but didn't tell the athletes. So they're like, why the fuck we can't get in here and actually train? And they were trying to get warmed up, but it was like they couldn't even do it. Now, word on the curb is that she pulled her hamstring in the warm-up, Shelly. But then I'm seeing something else saying, too, that she didn't want to take it to chance by not really getting, because she didn't get a chance to really warm up. She wasn't going to go out there and just run. So whatever the case may be, we did not get to see Shelly run, which really is heartbreaking. It took so much anticipation out of this semifinal, low-key out of the final, too, because we wanted to see her, and she looked good in the heat. It's like, because you could tell in the heat, she was really running super, like, reserved, like she had so much more in the tank. So to see her pull out when she's up against Julien and Sha'Carri, that was heartbreaking. And it's her last Olympics. We're not going to see her run any individual event ever again at the Olympics. And this was kind of like her last dance. And it's like, is she going to run on the 4x1? We don't know. But let's move to what was there. We had Julien Alfred and Sha'Carri Richardson. And I hated how NBC did not show anybody else in the fucking heat. I'm trying not to cuss. In the heat. But they showed a little bit of Julien, but they showed a lot of Sha'Carri. I understand why they got it on Sha'Carri, because she is kind of like, for USA, she's definitely what you're looking for. A lot of people are watching to see her. Even the world, I will say that too. But still, like, just respectfully, show who's in the heats. Like, let's see who's there. Like, this is a big moment. But they showed Julien Alfred, which I'm glad they did. I love Juju. And like I said yesterday, Juju's going to be the one to make Sha'Carri work for it. Sha'Carri got a better start than she did yesterday, but it was not a good enough start because she got wet because Julien got out. She's the indoor 60-meter champion for a reason. And she got out, and she got out strong. Sha'Carri was starting to close. She was starting to reel her back in around like 50 meters. But she realized at this point, like, I still got to run. I got to run in an hour. So do I really want to pull and try and run her down? Because she could have ran her down. But, like, why do I want to run her down when I got to run against her again? But they both were pulling, coming home. They was letting up, getting off the gas. Julien ran 10:84 and Sha'Carri 10:89 to go on to the finals. We're not going to talk about the third heat. The third heat had T.T. Terry, Daryl Nita, and Tia Clayton. This one I don't want to say it was a shock because Tia Clayton ran hella good at their Jamaican trials. But Tia Clayton came out. She got a good start. But she ended up running 10:89. Daryl Nita, she was with TT probably coming into 60. But Daryl started to pull away, and TT fought for her life. To get in this final. And she did. Daryl Nita ran 10:97. TT Terry ran 11:07 to get that final qualifying spot to get to the finals. And she did. So before we talk about the finals, we're going to talk about this 4x4. The mixed 4x4, we got the same team, which I'm very happy about. They put the same team out there, which is Vernon Norwood, Shamir Little, Bryce Deadman, and Kaylyn Brown. The Netherlands, I was watching. I'm like, okay, they're going to put Femke Bol out here. And Femke is on fresh legs. She has not run yet this entire Olympics. And I'm like, we got Kaylyn Brown versus Femke Bol. And I'm like, if we would have gotten a fresh leg Kaylyn Brown versus a fresh leg Femke Bol, who knows what would have happened. But I was sitting there thinking to myself, it's going to be hard. If they don't get a big enough lead like they did yesterday, it's going to be hard for her to hold off Femke Bol. First heat, the first leg, Vernon did his thing. Shamir did her thing like she did yesterday. Like, she pulled away from Clobber because Clobber was coming. And when she was coming, she was coming. But Clobber tends to kind of fade the last 100 of her 400. Shamir always kicks that last 100. Shamir always got something for you. And she was kicking. Bryce was doing good, but the boys was coming behind him. Kaylyn got the stick, but when she had the stick, she didn't have the lead that she had yesterday. And Kaylyn was running. She was running hard, too. She ran her heart out. But she just ran a 400 yesterday. She got a whole 400 in her legs when Femke Bol, who was back there in fourth, was pacing it right. She ain't ran a 400 yet. She got fresh legs versus you, the collegiate, who's been running all year. Keep that in mind. She's been running all year. She just ran a whole collegiate season. And then she just ran a 400 yesterday on world record time. Then turned back around again and ran another 400. And she was doing good until like probably, 360? Them last 40 meters, Femke Bol was coming. I was like, oh shit, here she comes. She is hunting her prey. And she came. And she got her on, I want to say, like 380. But nothing. When I tell you nothing to be disappointed about for USA, they all did what they supposed to do. They ran their heart out. I don't think there was any bad passes. It just wasn't their day. It just was not their day, which sucks because I wanted them to win. But you got a silver medal. All of them have a silver medal on the Olympic stage. You are an Olympic medalist now. Congratulations to the Netherlands. They killed it. Femke Bol versus Sydney in them hurdles is going to be a show. And I'm pretty sure Sydney's probably going to be on that 4x4 for the women. She's probably going to anchor at home too, up against, Femke Bol going to be anchoring that 4x4 for the Netherlands. We're going to have 2 showdowns between them two, and that's going to be good. But now, let's get to the premier event, which is the 100 final for the women. So I'm going to read you the women that are in the final. We got Tia Clayton. We got Kambunji. We got Mary-Josée Talu. We got Daryl Nita. We got Melissa Jefferson. We got TT Terry, Julien Alfred, and Sha'Carri Richardson. It started raining. Let's talk about that. It started raining. They was running into a -0.1. When the race started, I don't know if y'all caught it, but I saw Daryl Nita flinch a little bit. Like, as soon as they called him up for set, she flinched a little bit. And I was looking at Sha'Carri too, and I feel like, I don't want to say this as an excuse, but I feel like Sha'Carri, it might have fucked with her, seeing her flinch, thinking she might have ended up getting a false start. Regardless, they didn't catch it. They started the race. Sha'Carri's start was not good. It was not good. And she was right next to Julien Alfred. That's a 60, like I said, that's a 60-meter world champion. Reigning. She got the fuck out. And when she got out, she was gone. She was gone. Everybody else was trying to chase her. Even Sha'Carri was trying to chase her. Sha'Carri coming into 50, she might have been in 4th place. I was like, this might be too much of a bargain for her to come get Julien, who was accelerating the whole way. Julien has run 10.7 already this year. So if she can do it one time, she can do it again. And the way she's been running her rounds, Julien was running it perfect. Like I told y'all yesterday, she's going to be the one to give her a run for her money. And she did. Julien cruised home 10.72. It's a national record. St. Lucia, first time they've won a medal on the Olympic stage in an individual event. I love me some Julien Alfred. I'm so happy for her. Like, she deserves it. I hope she gets all the opportunities. I hope she gets all the attention that she deserves because she's beautiful. She's such a great person too. If you don't know, just look at her interview. She's an amazing person. She's a beautiful woman. She's super talented. She's uber talented. Like I told you, I feel like she's gonna be walking in with another medal for the 200 that starts tomorrow. But Sha'Carri Richardson, she got up to second. She got silver. She fought. For her to come back from that start to then come up and get silver, 10.87, that is nothing to be upset about. I know a lot of people are going to be giving her shit for it, but y'all need to literally grow up. Like, switching up on her because she had a bad moment in a race. Ooh, whoop-de-woo. Like, yes, it's a big race and it's the biggest race to do it in, but sitting there trying to make it seem like she sucks because she didn't get the gold that she was expected to get, don't start doing that. She earned her medal. Like, she earned her medal. It's just, if you ain't ever run track, you just don't know. Sometimes it's just not your day. And today just was not her day. But shout out to Melissa Jefferson as well. Homegirl, she was running for that. She was running and she fought for her bronze. I was so happy. I was so happy for her. She ran 10.92. Daryl Nita and TT Terry was right there behind her, as was Majinga Kambunji. Like, I told you, them four was going to be the ones having a run down for that bronze medal because I knew it was those two, Sha'Carri and Julien, fighting for gold and silver. I thought if Shelly was running, Shelly would have gotten bronze. But them four was fighting. Tia Clayton fell to 11:04, but Ta Lou, I didn't even notice it watching the race. But when I rewatched it back, she pulled up at like maybe 70 meters. It makes me sad because I love her and I wanted her to get a medal because she's on the older end too. She's 35. I don't think she'll probably be back at the Olympic Games. She'll be 40 years old in 2028. So, we're damn near close to it. Sucks, but beautiful race. It was a great race. Shout out to Julien Alfred. So happy for Juju. Sha'Carri, shout out to you. Silver medal. That is nothing to be upset about. I know she's probably mad that she had a bad start, but that's going to fuel her even more for LA in 2028. She gonna be hunting for that gold. But shout out to Melissa Jefferson. Shout out to everybody, all the ladies in the finals. Shout out to everybody that was running today. Track and field, like, this is what we've been waiting for. And the first 2 days have not disappointed. We've had a lot of drama. We've had a lot of good races, some good running, and I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow we got the men's 100 finals and semifinals. We got 200 heats for the women. We got the 110 hurdle heats. Shout out. You already know I'm rooting for my boy Daniel Roberts. Rooting for Freddie Crittenden, Grant Holloway. I'm excited. Hopefully we get a sweep. That's what we got looking forward to tomorrow. I think we might have a couple more that I might be missing out the dome. I think 400 starts tomorrow too for the men. I think. But I'm going to be here. Like I said, I'm going to be here. So if you made it this far and have not already, please thumbs up the video. That helps with engagement. Drop your comments down below. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Subscribe if you are new here. Turn the post notifications on so you'll be notified when I do upload. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.